First of all, it's important to note that it's not mandatory for you to ask a question after an interview. If you had a good interview, a good experience where you feel that you've been able to answer briskly, quickly, and it's been basically you have a good feeling about it, then it's not required. Don't go for a question. Sometimes what happens that if you forcefully ask a question, then it comes across to the interviewer that he or she is asking questions just for the heck of it, or you may be counter questioned based on the questions that you are asking, and it would just unnecessarily sway away from the good points of the interview. If you had a bad interview or a rough interview where you feel that you've not been able to show your potential, then it makes sense to ask a question. So when you're asking certain questions, it's very important to keep the following things in mind and a few tips that I give you based on the experience that I've had. So the first type of question that you can ask is based on your work experience. If you have work experience, then the first type of question can be based on that. You can ask any real life situation, case, or incident that happened during your work to the interview panel to ask maybe for a different perspective. For example, you could ask that during my time at XYZ organization, I saw there was a lack of interdepartmental coordination and the departments weren't functioning in sync. So, how is it that super successful companies like Amazon, Flipkart, etc., are able to do the same thing despite having such a large scale of operation? If you don't have work experience, then this very same question can be linked to any of your PORs, any internship that you had, any incident where you felt that having a managerial experience or a different larger scale perspective would have helped you out. If you don't have either of these, then there is still scope to ask questions. You can ask questions based on current events. Now, when you're talking about current events, it's very important to note that you don't get into political topics. You don't ask anything that is controversial. Stick to questions regarding the economy, finance, the budget that is coming up, that has come up. So you have, and but be note that you have to be well read about whatever you ask. Don't ask questions in which you don't have information when you're counter questioned. The last type of question that you can ask, even if you don't have current knowledge about current events, is all professors from reputed colleges may write down research papers. You can go through these research papers, and specific to the college for which you're interviewing, you can ask questions based on those research papers. Now, this is possibly the most difficult type of question because if the professor decides to counter question you on his research paper or his colleague's research paper, it will become a very detailed discussion. So keep these few tips in mind, and I wish you best of luck for your interviews and hope to see you soon.